Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be checking out another of Merciful Servant's videos called The Evolution Fantasy Atheism Exposed, and see what response I have to it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified of every new video I upload. And if you like it, while you're there, just hit the like button. Now, links for the video I'll be watching, along with any other sources I use, will be in the description. So without further ado, let's begin.
Why couldn't the human beings and other living organisms have all originated from other simple primates? There are two illogicalities here. First, there is not one single evidence proving a major evolutionary development.
There are a lot of evidences, in fact. For example, this fossil record of a whale evolution over here. It shows how whale evolves, and it shows all the different skulls and how the nostrils moved upwards to conclude the modern whale we have today. And in 1988, a professor in Michigan University called Richard Lenski ran a 20-year experiment on evolution. Now he used some E. coli bacteria and put them in different colonies of 12 different colonies of E. coli bacteria and put them in different environments. One of the main components of the environments was citric acid. Now, normally, E. coli bacteria are not able to digest citric acid, but in 2008, he reported that one of the 12 colonies was able to digest citric acid. He compared it to humans being able to digest tree bark. Now, this is one major evolutionary development observed over time. And yes, this means it evolved into almost a new species. Also in 1981, on one of the Galapagos Islands, a group of finches settled down and over time did something what's known as speciating, or they speciated, which means they changed into a different species. They had different songs and they can only reproduce through one another. So yes, this is also another example of one species turning into another. And this was directly observed by modern science. So yes, a lot of evidences are there, and don't just use the idiotic argument of we don't have any single evidence. In fact, if there's one thing we don't have evidence for, it's creation.
By evolutionary development, we mean the transition of one species into another form of species. Scientists have never been able to verify or spot a single evidence on a transition from species to another, and all of these are just mere speculations. So, how can an atheist choose to believe in a speculative evidence and deny our religion-based solid evidence?
Oh God, just continue.
Solid evidence. According to the minimum gene set concept, no living organism, no matter how primary, can go below 200 genes. Nature magazine stated in their issue dated 6 January 2006 that we could never go below the border of 397 genes. Energy production alone requires at least 6 genes, and if one single gene is missing, the cell will not be able to provide any energy.
That's actually a good point. But does it disprove evolution? No, it actually proves evolution. You see, in early Earth conditions, amino acids were common among the molecules that were present. Shown by the Miller-Urey experiment, I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you want to check it out yourself. They simulated early Earth conditions, not on computer, on real life, and found that after only 2 weeks, several amino acids and other organic compounds began to form. Now, it won't be hard from this step on for just the amino acids to cling on together and form proteins, which then form genes. And you would only need to form these gene sets once, and then the cell can be able to reproduce and just copy everything, adding what it needs to add and removing what it needs to remove.
Likewise, each and every basic function requires a minimum number of genes. Scientists have found that mycoplasma is the most accurate living organism on Earth. It has 468 genes, and each one of these genes contains complex proteins that could be within the range of 1,000 to 10,000 amino acids. Hence, if you have 3 billion specialized pieces of information, these pieces of information are embedded inside the nucleus of each of your cells to produce precise vital functions, or even 11,000 pieces of information, then you are facing a giant treasure of specialized information that has suddenly materialized. Atheists fantasize that there were beings that emerged from a count of 0 genes. But the theory of minimum gene set came to thwart this fantasy. Obviously, all living organisms have emerged so functionally complex from the very first moment.
So to sum up that last part, he says that atheists believe that the first living cell began with zero genes to build up from, and also saying that the minimal gene set theory disproves that. Um, and then he goes on to just say some numbers to prove his points. And last but not least, he says that these are all specialized pieces of information. But what you fail to acknowledge is, yes, we start from 0 genes until we reach the minimum genes, until we reach the minimum amount of genes we need, and then we started building on from there. It's like building a phone from scratch. You need all components. For example, you get the camera and the processor and all the other components. Okay, you start building up from them until you reach the minimum, which is, yes, I would need only one processor and one battery and one camera and the screen, for example. Now then, this is the minimum, which you then later on build upon. If you say everything has specialized function of the creator, what you fail to acknowledge is that sometimes these specialized functions fail, creating people with autism, people with Down syndrome, and merciful servants. Okay guys, that was it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Links of everything will be in the description. I need to mention that again for any of you who didn't pick it up from the beginning. And as I said earlier, this is a new channel, so supporting it by subscribing is very appreciated, and thank you for anyone who does that. But yeah, and see you in the next video.